What's going on, everybody? I wanted to come to you today to go over some things with the golf. Today is the greatest golf day in the year, the Masters. I don't know who's winning right now, but because I'm working. But what we're gonna do is go over some things to help with your swing. So Tyler a few weeks ago did a video segment on internal rotation of the hip, and it's actually an area of the mobility in the hip that we see amateurs lose a lot of. So what happens in a golf swing is if you don't have good internal rotation of your trail hip, for a right-handed golfer, that'd be your right hip. If you don't have good internal rotation, what you're gonna see a lot more of is a lot more lateral movement into the backswing. Similar onto the front hip for the downswing, if you don't have good rotation capability of that hip, you're gonna see more slides. So you sway back, slide forward. So when we go into our backswing for a right-handed golfer, we really want to see good amounts of internal rotation without the lateral movement. So Tyler a couple weeks ago went over some strategies on how to improve that mobility. So I want to go over how we can create stability for that new range of motion when it comes to a golf swing. So what I had here is just fastened in some Rogue bands around the squat rack. I'm going to step into the band and get this right around my hip. So now what we do here is this more of a pattern assistance. So now I'm getting a cue from the band that wants to pull me into this motion here. So what I have to do is I have to stabilize against that and really stay true as I rotate and not letting it come forward. So you don't have to do full swings here, but more start turning in on the hip as the band wants to pull you this way. And you can also do this facing the other way to work on the opposite hip. But good way to now take the exercises that we did a couple weeks ago with Tyler on how to improve your hip range of motion and now create a stabilization exercise during movement. So even if you just do your quarter swings, your full swings, not letting that band take you forward. So great exercise overall. And what you can do in the meantime to really help get improved mobility of internal rotation without the bands, let's say at the driving range, is if you just bring your toes outward about 45 degrees towards that direction where you're limited, it's gonna actually help improve your range of motion in the swing. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing this right before you go and play 18, but more at the range, start working with it. As you bring that foot out, it's gonna allow your trail hip to get into more rotation compared to if you're closed. Now this might throw off a lot of the other components of the swing, so I would try using this at the driving range first. And you can do the same thing on the lead hip as well. By going into an external rotation of the hip, you're gonna provide the hip more range of motion to go into rotation. So overall, take what Tyler showed you guys a couple weeks ago with the mobility and with the strengthening and just use this exercise here for some stability. Try it out.